It's
Okay,
recording.
great. Good afternoon, good day to you, wherever you are. Welcome to this month's GroupWise Enterprise Messaging Product Update webinar. Today, we've got a brief update on where we are with the future versions that Eric, who's our product manager, is going to be giving. And then Richa will be taking us through the changes that we've added to GroupWise Web that allows for SMG, the Secure Messaging Gateway, which is part of enterprise messaging, to give a bit of extra security around that with attachments that are being uploaded and so on. As always, we've got the wonderful Pam, who will be working like mad behind the scenes answering your questions. So if you do have any questions, put them into the Q&A panel, which I think is on the 3 dots in your bottom right of your screen there. I can't access it myself because I'm sharing my screen. And we also have Ed and a few others behind the scenes who can help answer questions and so on. But before we get on to what Eric has got to show us, I just want to go through some of the events we've got coming up in OpenText. So first of all, we've got OpenText World, which is going to be in Las Vegas in mid-November. So this is our big conference, which goes through all of our products that we've got there. So just be aware that we do have that. I do recommend going and attending that. For something a bit more focused on GroupWise and the collaboration and file and print products, then if you're in Germany, Austria, or Switzerland, we do have the DAC tour kicking off at the beginning of November, and that's going to be visiting 4 cities. So it's going to be Vienna, Düsseldorf. Actually, I think Vienna, Düsseldorf, Stuttgart, Berlin. Is that right in that order, Mike?
Yes, Robin, the order is
changed the order from last time, which confused me.
Yeah.
So,
but it's correct, and it's not in Stuttgart. It's close to Stuttgart. It's called Esslingen this time. But the registration page, you will mention that soon. We'll cover all this.
Registration for that will be up shortly on the openhorizons.net website, and that's just a one-day event with I think there's a partner day the day before, isn't there, Mike?
Yes,
partners.
That's correct.
So if you're in that sort of area, then certainly worth going along to and learning a little bit more about where we are and where we're going with our products.
And Robin, one information, the FAQ is not visible.
FAQ?
The FAQ, the question and answer, sorry, is not there.
Okay.
The Q&A isn't available. It's not showing up anywhere. So we'll just have to answer questions
I'll have to
in
wait
chat.
till I've stopped sharing my screen before I sort that one out.
Okay.
Or Mike, if you go delving in to the menu system at the top, you've got an option there to enable it. I'll see if you can find it there before I do when I'm finished this. So if you've got questions for the moment, then pop it into the chat window. But we'll let you know when the Q&A is available, because it does make life a lot easier if they come in on the Q&A.
It is, Robin.
Sorry, it is now available, is it?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, good. So you can post questions on the Q&A. Sorry, that was my fault for not enabling it beforehand. So the next thing that we've got is what we call the Bangalore Developer Conference. That isn't actually for developers. It's for you to have a chance to meet our developers in Bangalore. So, for instance, Richa is based in Bangalore. You could go and talk to her about GroupWise Web and give your thoughts on that and find out a few bits and pieces extra. But also we've got the OES development team there, the iPrint development team, the filer development team, and so on. So it gives you a chance for doing that and seeing people there. If you have a look at this website there, you've got the registration capabilities, the registration links there. And if I can grab my browser window, let me just show you that page. So this is the agenda. We've got I think on the Sunday, I've got a workshop there with Tim Hayward. Yeah, there we go. Many of you will know Tim Hayward on GroupWise hints and best practices. So that's a full day workshop that we will be delivering there. And there are one or two other GroupWise sessions there as well. I think we've got a secure messaging gateway session as well that Tim Hayward is going to be delivering. That's on the Friday side things. We've got some other SMG sessions and GroupWise sessions in there as well. So do have a look at that. I'll post the link in the chat window after I've finished here. And that is, I think, are we charging this time around? I think it's $50, so very cheap for a whole 7 days of workshops and sessions around our products. And they also go and do a partners and spouses agenda as well. My wife went along at the last conference and had a wonderful time. So do think about attending that if you can. So let's just move on to the release update. Eric, I'm guessing that we've got 24.4 coming out next month, would it be?
Yes, Robin, that's correct. So in October, that's our main release time for our long-term support releases of the various products here.
That's good. So that would be the 3 years and plus 2 years support we'll be getting on that one. Do you need to share your screen? I can make you presenter.
I don't think we need to do that this time around. There's only a couple of things that I want to bring up. Do you want me to just go ahead?
Yep, just go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So coming up here in October, we'll have the 24.4 release of GroupWise Retain and SMG. GroupWise will get the WebEx integration that we've previously shown. I think it was last week? I think or not last week, last webinar.
Even.
Yeah, in the last webinar. And then so that's the main one there. GroupWise has gone through a large amount of hardening. So we've spent a lot of time trying to correct and fix a lot of bugs that you guys have reported or we found and really tried to clean some of that up. Of note, there's a GWDR release that we're expecting to be able to put out. That's a small release with some small updates, but it will carry the LTS release tag, so it will have support. The other thing that's all we'll be getting in GroupWise. With Retain, there'll be an NTLM Kerberos integration with the Exchange module. It's probably not as relevant in this group, but highly sought after feature there. And then with SMG, we're looking for SLES 15 SP6 support, rounding out the year.
On the SMG front, just to clarify, because I was contacted by a customer last week, and it's happened a couple of times in the past. On the life cycle page, it's got end of support happening in 8 months or so for SMG. I just want to clarify that with the 24.4 release, that will be supported through for the 3 years standard and then the optional 2 years extra. Yes.
So I'm not sure what, and I'll go back and look at the page a little bit later, but there are two categories. One has to do with the appliance version. The appliance version will not be getting any kind of extended support, and should be wrapping up around that time that you were speaking of. But as far as SMG, the non-appliance, right, where we separated that last 23.3, that version will get long-term support.
Okay, great. That's excellent. Sorry to interrupt them.
Yeah, that's no problem. Yes, those SP6 SLES 15 SP6 for SMG will round up the year for 24.4 for 2024. And then coming into 25.1, we're looking at a single sign-on with web, and I probably didn't mention. I didn't mention in web for 24.4, but in web we'll be getting extension with the SMG integration. So last release with web and SMG integration, we had the ability to just scan attachments. We'll be getting an extension where you'll be able to filter content as well, right? Message content, so subject, message body as well. So you'll be able to apply that to your, with whatever your policy is set in SMG. So that's we'll be just kind of extending the functionality of that integration point. So, yes, I forgot to mention that, and I apologize. So into 25.1, we'll be looking at single sign-on. That's the goal there, is to try to get that out. We've been talking about it quite a bit. We've got it planned for 25.1.
So that's
be addressing
with
that.
Is it?
NetIQ.
Yeah. Access Manager.
That's correct.
Okay, good.
And then Retain doesn't get a release in 25.1. It releases every other. So, but for it heading into its next release, we'll be looking at a Teams integration in there. We'll also have our eyes on a connection with IDLE for those that use IDLE. That'll allow AI integration, but you would have to have IDLE for that. That's an effort that we're looking to try to do with the IDLE group. And then in SMG, we'll be looking at some work with the gadget information panel, enhancing the QMS address handling, maybe working on some of the tracker UI. So some work in SMG that we've been wanting to do for a while now that we've been able to get through the appliance disconnect. So kind of in the future, some of the items that we're sort of looking toward with GroupWise would be SIEM, security event logging, information event logging, multi-factor bypass. That's the allowing you to skip multi-factor when you're internal versus if you were external. So we're looking at trying to get at that down the road, and some exciting other new things that we're not quite ready to announce in the GroupWise area. So yeah, immediately it's looking really good there for us, and then in the future we've got some good things there as well. So
sounds good. We've got some good things coming along, and everything is going to be great. That we're getting a long-term support reset next month. So excellent.
all right.
Are there any questions, Mike or Ed, that have come in? I'm going to take that as no.
I think Pam is doing a good job here.
Oh, maybe
Answered
ask
2
Pam.
questions.
Any questions coming in?
No. Well, yes, there are some questions coming in, but I've been able to answer them. Thank you. Eric gave me the answer to the first one, and I was able to answer the second one.
Okay, great. So what we're going to do now is just move on to Richa, and let me just make you the presenter. And we're going to learn a little bit about how we can get SMG working with GroupWise Web. Let me just change role, make you the presenter. So you should have rights to show your screen now.
Thank you, Robin. Thanks, Eric. So I'll just share my screen.
You should have it down the bottom. Yep, there we go. Something's happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I can see that. So that's
yeah,
great.
thank you, Robin, for confirming. So hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. And I'm Richa Singh, as you know, I'm from the development team for GroupWise Web. So for this webinar, mostly I wanted to cover topic on the last 2 releases that we have done as implementation GroupWise Web. So it's mostly, as we all know, secure messaging gateway we have integrated in GroupWise Web now. And in 24.3 release, as Eric has mentioned, we were done for the attachment scanning through that. And now with 24.4 release, we have now incorporated everything like message body to CC subjects, all the fields for the message while sending the message, as well as in the signature part. So I think let's dive deeper on the topics. So yeah, I'll get started mostly on the attachment scanning part first. Okay, so for attachment scanning, mostly when user now with 24.3 release, if it tries to upload an attachment where SMG is enabled in a system, the attachment will go through some security scan based on the policies of the which is configured at SMGN by the SMG admin, and if that attachment passes that scan, then the attachment will be uploaded to the GroupWise Web, and if not, then the user will be notified about what's wrong with the attachment. So basically, it's just a brief idea I wanted to give about attachment scanning. I'll go into more details about with various scenarios, and with demo also I'll cover the more details. And okay, so moving to email content scanning. So what we mean now with emails, we have various fields in the emails. If we look at, we have subject, we have body of the email, we have in the body also, if you see there are multiple ways we can insert the images, and there are different types of editor we can, with the help of the editor, we can try different things in the body as well. So there are various ways where if right policies are configured in an email, maybe to block certain inline images or something which is against the policy of the organization. So those will be triggered, those emails will be triggered when sent to when the user try to send that email. So if that email passes the security scan, then the email will be sent. But if not, then again the email will not be sent, and the user will be notified about this issues. So yeah, moving on to signature scanning. So it's when the user try to actually create or modify the signature, so you will see there is a similar editor we have as we see in the compose window. So for that as well, we have integrated the secure messaging gateway integration we did for that as well, so that the security scan should be done while creating the signature as well, while modifying it. So it's a similar behavior. We can get it from the email compose. So that's about the signature scanning. Before I move into more details how it works and with the demo, I wanted to talk about what is the web config now look like with secure messaging gateway. So if we see the admin tab admin tab, if we see, so we'll see like now there is a secure messaging gateway tab which has various fields uh, for for the admin to enter about this SMG setup. So if it's in case it is enabled, then you can see all these fields will be enabled for the admin to give the host name of the SMG and the port, also the application key which we get from SMG interface, and the SSL. So by default for us, the SSL is enabled. So the SSL certificate also needs to be uploaded for that. And there is one more flag we have here. It's a process attachment if scanning is interrupted. So what we do for this flag is, so we have given admin the ability in case, let's say the SMG gets unreachable, and the admin can take a control and say, okay, what I want to do with the attachment, whether I want to allow the user to upload the attachments or not. So the admin can take a call and say, if it's checked, so the users will be able to upload the attachment in case SMG is unreachable or the setup is not proper, be it any reason. The admin has the complete control on that. And if not, then the user will not be able to upload the attachment. So that's the case. We have included this flag. So yeah, I think this is the setup that we need in admin tab for SMG to work. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So I wanted to cover the various scenarios we have for attachment scanning. So let's say the admin has enabled the SMG and it has all the proper configuration. So how does the system will work? So in that case, for example, the attachments which fails the scan, the user will be notified about such notification will be shown to the user, and with whatever the policy the SMG admin has configured, so based on that the error will be shown to the user. So this is something that we have for scenario when SMG is enabled. But with recent implementation in our 24.4, we also have added color coding as well. So when I will give the demo about that, we'll see with color coding also the user will be able to differentiate whether it is green color code. There is a color coding with for red will signify, okay, these attachments are having a problem from SMG policy, and if it is marked as green, then the visual representation will be shown to the user with that, like, okay, these attachments have passed the security scan. So yeah, that was the scenario one. Maybe I will go to my setup. Just want to cover, let's say, my screen is visible now as well, right? Just wanted to confirm. I'm into my GroupWise web.
Yep, I can see that.
Oh, thank you. So when now I'm trying to upload certain attachments. So we can see there is one attachment which for the purpose it has we have blocked we have configured a policy which actually should block this attachment to be uploaded. So this basically will not be uploaded to our POA. And if I try to send it to someone, let's see. So we can see here all the attachments we can see instead of the one which has the problem. So that is something which doesn't show over here. So this was the scenario 1 which I wanted to cover for this attachment scanning. If I move on to scenarios 2, so it's basically SMG disabled scenario. So in that case, when SMG is disabled, we are not doing anything not showing actually anything new to the user. The user will be simply working with the attachment as it used to work before 24.3. So there won't be any changes in visible changes the user can see with that if they have if the admin has put SMG as disabled. So the next part is what happens when we have checked SMG. We have put SMG as enabled, but we have process attachment if scanning is interrupted as unchecked. So I remember basically I'm talking about this flag which we have over here, which is now unchecked, and SMG is enabled, and it has the SMG might be down, or due to various reasons it is not reachable. So what happens? So in that scenario, what we are going to do is we are going to if we are not going to allow the user to attach the attachment, so a user will be getting some notification saying, okay, it's scanning is offline and try attaching the attachment later. So I have this as working in my other setup.
Richa, can I interrupt you just a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Harold would like to know, he says, all messages coming in from the internet or a GroupWise user finally gets stored in the post office. This could be a place to look for malware. Can SMG scan and do a real-time scan on the messages in the post office? Do you know? Or is that going to be a question for the SMG folks?
So can you come again? Sorry, I missed some part of your question.
I actually think it's a question for the SMG folks, but what he's asking is, with all messages coming in from the internet or a GroupWise user, when it ends up in the post office, if SMG can do a scan at the files in the post office. But I think that's going to be for the SMG folks.
So what is for GW Web, basically the integration that we have done. So it's the attachment is the user who tries to upload the attachment, it's from the I mean that attachment will be sent to the SMG for the scanning. So it's if I understand correctly, mostly it's the SMG that's going to block such attachment if it's if the attachment is sent to them for scanning and the policy is violated. So that is how SMG operates. And
Can I sneak in here? I think I can answer that question for you real quick.
Yeah.
Richa, I think she's speaking about SMG by itself. This is a feature separate from what your demo is. But basically, SMG does have the ability to scan post offices. You have to set it up. It can scan your post office. Probably doing a real-time scan isn't. I think they're only scheduled with it, and we could probably get some more information about that a little bit later. But in the past, we were able to make a connection through trusted application or something like that. We could do scheduled scans. If you wanted
Thanks,
to scan
Eric.
an existing post office, you probably could. So this
As soon
what
as I
Reach
asked
is
it, I knew
showing.
it was, yeah.
What Reach is showing is not really relevant to that question. So Reach, you go ahead and continue your demonstration.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I missed that post office part. So yeah, I was getting a bit confused. It's about our post office part that it was. Okay. So okay, sorry, this is setup related to the other one. Okay, so this is the part where I was going to demo if our process attachment is flagged as unchecked, how things will, how the attachment will be uploaded, and what notification the user will be getting. So this is how it's going to show to the user for the attachments what the user is trying to upload. So that the user is aware, okay, why the particular attachment which is trying to upload, it didn't get attached. So that is one scenario. And the other scenario we had, it's about process attachment checked, and in that case as well, if now we should be able to upload all the attachment, and but it will have some notification to the user saying, yeah, there is a risk associated with it, but it will not be scanned, though it will be uploaded. So we can see all these are marked as green. So this is how the attachment scanning is working currently. Okay. Moving to the yes. So it's about now email content scanning again. So the attachment scanning was triggered when we are trying to upload the attachment, but this email content scanning will be triggered at the level of send. So what I mean by that now, if okay, so for example, if I compose some email which is a bit offending and my policy is configured like it should not allow some words to be included in so now since this word is a bit offensive, so we have configured some policy which says, okay, this is some offending words, we should, I mean, the user will not be allowed to be sent using that word. But if I remove it, and try sending, so we are able to send that. So in similar way, there is different use cases that we can have. For example, we can have something like, maybe we have configured some policy and we can block some URL. And okay, so there is some link that is also a block from being sent from messages, so that will also be shown to the user as a notifications in case the policies are correctly configured. So, some of these use cases, it can happen in day-to-day life for the user. So yeah, that way it can at least help the organization if they're using the secure messaging gateway enabled system for GroupWise Web. So so these offensive words, when it is there in the body, even in the subject or any 2cc bcc field, so it will all be blocked when we are trying to actually send the send the emails. So this similar thing I wanted to cover for signature as well. So maybe I can cover that, but yeah, before that, if what happens when SMG is unreachable and will be able to send the emails. So yes, we will be able to send the emails, but we will be again showing some messages to the user that there are different risks with it, and so that the user can be understandable about the risk on that part. So, and when it is disabled, again, there is no notification to be shown in case of email scanning. Okay, so moving to the signature scanning, it's similar to, as I said, the email content, but just wanted to show here in the demo. So for example, I have already have a harmless virus I have over here, and it's a image, basically an inline image, which is harmless, and we have saved it previously without SMG enabled system. But I can show for the demo if I try to change anything in this SMG enabled system, will it be allowing to save or not? So if I click on save, we'll see some of the policies which is failing this signature. One is antivirus, and the other one, if we can see, there is this virus is also blocked by some policy. So these can be the scenarios where we can use this kind of use cases where the antivirus and all those policies can help definitely when in considerate of attachment as well as inline images. So I believe I've covered for a signature everything. Just yeah, in case of unreachable as well, we will again get some notification. So it will be for signature specific notification when trying to save, but signature also we will be able to save. So this is the notification we'll get, and right. So as I have already talked about, we have SSL enabled as default, but for example, that there might be scenario where they want to work with the SSL SSL off state. So we can use this while creating the container, and we can mark it as off in our Docker run command. So that's how we can work with the SSL off scenario. And yeah, I think I'm done with the demo. We can take any questions for this.
I do have one question that has come up for Eric. I know that you have talked about this in the past, but I can't remember where it is on the roadmap. When are we going to be able to send logs to an SIEM or a SOAR system? Do you know?
We have on the roadmap to begin work on something like that for GroupWise. We don't have it for on the roadmap currently for Retain or SMG at the moment.
But you don't know what a possible ETA for that is?
They're not even on the roadmap, so no, I don't have
For GroupWise.
not for SMG or Retain. For GroupWise, GroupWise is, yeah, I think the question I saw in the Q&A was in reference to, well, maybe it wasn't in reference to SMG, maybe I just thought it was, but for GroupWise, it's listed later on in the year, somewhere down in the second half. Jay, I don't know if he's in here. But I think there's probably not any reason for him to join in here unless he understands something different than I do. But
Okay.
Eric, I am here, and you're right. It would be probably sometime around in spring or summer of 2025.
Yeah, that's what we're targeting.
Okay.
So,
And then do the SMG support syslog files? I don't think it does.
that I don't have an answer for. I'm not sure. I don't know that. We'd have to bring that
Okay.
up with our development team.
I'll do that.
Any other questions there, Pam?
And no.
On that, okay, in which case, got about 15 minutes left. So let's open up the Q&A for any general questions you have. You've got quite a team behind the scenes here with members from support, product management, and a few developers there. So now is the time to ask any questions that you've been holding on to for such a moment. And if no one comes up with anything, then rather than me getting Ed to turn on his camera and do a dance on the table.
Well, please don't do that. Somebody ask a question. I can make one comment to Rod. I owe you builds and I'll get them after this webinar.
Okay, it doesn't, I'm guessing that no questions are coming in.
Andy just asked one about RFC 5233, and I don't know what that is. Sub-addressing would be a really using security options. I'm not sure. Eric, that's probably one for you.
And I'm horrified, Pam. You don't know every single RFC off the top of your head.
I was going to say that's a pretty tall order. I'm not aware of what RFC 5233 is. I'd need a little bit more information on what that is. And
useful security, user ID plus tag at domain.com.
Okay. Yeah, I don't, again, I'm not familiar with that one, so I wouldn't have an answer that would be helpful here at this time.
And John would like to know if there are any other European events where GroupWise is being demoed or marketed.
I think those dark tours, Mike, you're doing a GroupWise session on the dark tours, aren't you?
That's correct.
I'm sorry, but that's in German, I assume, Mike.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
When I did it last year, I'm afraid to say it was in English. My German does not extend very far, apart from ordering a beer. Yeah, I think Mike will be doing that in German. I'm not sure about, we do have the TTP event. So we've got the one in Bangalore, which is a really cracking opportunity to talk to the people that count, the developers and so on. But we do run a TTP typically once a year somewhere in Europe. So that, I suspect, will have a very similar agenda to what's happening in Bangalore, albeit without the development expertise available to talk to. And that, I don't know. Do you know when that's going to happen, Mike?
Yeah, it's not, the dates are not fixed, but it's planned for February 2025.
And often that's in Germany, but the sessions are delivered in English at that event.
And Thomas Stemper also does his roundtables usually once a month, and those are for GroupWise, Retain, SMG, GWDR. So those might be something John would be interested in. And as Dietmar pointed out, he happens to know the trainer. I can't imagine how he would know that trainer.
Well, tell you what, since we've got time, let me just go and make Dietmar a panelist, and he can tell us a little bit about what he covers in there. And did I just make? I thought I made Dietmar a panelist.
No, he's there.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's there. Hi, Dietmar. So what do you cover in these events? Oh, silence. He's on mute.
Still on mute, yeah.
Oh, he's not there.
Do you hear me now?
Yep, we
Yes.
hear you.
Ah, great. It was not so easy to unmute myself. So Thomas is very active to run a lot of different sessions, and especially for collaboration. So I think there will be a GroupWise training in January, and we will cover, as I know, retain and reload at the same time. And I think he wants to run a session, a whole day in December only for Secure Message Gateway. So I assume I will go to the RPM version a little bit more than for the appliance, because the RPM version is the future version for SMG. Any more questions?
Okay, great. Thanks for that update, Dietmar. Are there any more questions come in, Pam?
Nope.
Okay, well, in which case we can finish this early. Thank you, everyone, for turning up. I hope you've found it very useful. Thank you, Eric, for the product update. And thank you very much, Richa, for the demonstration and talk about SMG. Some interesting bits and pieces there. And whoever it was that was commenting, wouldn't this be good for Filer? I've already talked to the GroupWise to the Filer product team, and I have a feeling that Richa will get pinged pretty soon for to go through what has been done there. So maybe something will happen on that front in the future. And of course, as always, thank you very much to Pam and Mike in the background answering questions there. So let's call it a day, and hopefully we'll see you next month, and we'll have something new and exciting to cover then. Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, bye-bye.